Hi there. In this video we are going to be taking a look at this EINHELL VARRITO that EINHELL has sent to me, so thank you for that. This is a really cool tool by a really important fact, and I will show you for the first job that I'm going to use it to do. It can go in spaces that other tools cannot really reach. So many times around the house that is absolutely required. I do have a few EINHELL tools, but one of the jobs that I need to do really couldn't be done with any of them. I would have needed to somehow cut by hand or disassemble, cut and put back together. With this I will be cutting in place much easier. So let's take a quick look at this. Quick release, you can have see that right there, and magnetic tool fixation. So in theory we put it there, it stays by magnet, and then lock it in place. Reduced vibration, we will see if there is something that we can actually see for the vibration or not. That would in theory help with the battery itself. Yes, electronically controlled speed, soft grip, the rubber, the black one. These are all included, which is a bonus and quite nice. This is what you can do, for example, remove the silicone or whatever is between those tiles in there. Cut small pieces, use this for sanding, and I've read online a few people reporting that this is actually better for sanding than a dedicated sander. Is sander the proper term for it? Anyway, grinder, I don't know, sander, anyway, sanding machine. So that's pretty cool, because yes, I do have a few small projects that will benefit from this and not me just sanding by hand, which honestly sucks. This is the speed of the movements of the blade, adjustable from 11,000 to 20,000. This is how much the blade moves from one side to the other, 3.2 degrees. And yes, 18 volts. Separate video for all of these batteries. Presumably for this particular tool, maybe I will be going with this and see if it's enough for what I need, or with the 4 amp. I don't think I need the 6 amp, honestly. I don't think it's a tool that's that hard to drive with a battery. So let's cut this and get into the box. Yes, this is EINHELL leaflet. I will put it in the description in English. This is the Romanian variant. And yeah, you can use even a 1.5 amp. I will show you a tool where you need to use more, for example this one. So this doesn't really like that, only above 2.6 amp. But for VARRITO, anything goes. The difference will be just runtime. Opened up the package. I think we have the cutting elements right in here, so I will be cutting that also in a moment. But let's get to the tool itself. And this is a decently heavy tool that, in my opinion, most times signals decent components on the interior, because it's really difficult to create really long-lasting tools with really light components, only if they are extremely expensive or something like that. So if I feel a tool is heavy, yeah, most times it's actually good quality and long-lasting. So this is the little guy. First time I saw it, smaller than expected. But now I realize that you actually add the battery to it and the tool in the top, so it's normal size. And you would want this thing as compact as possible to reach hard to reach spots So there's that. VARRITO. Let's put a battery in it. Presumably this one. Hopefully it is at least partially charged, and it is. So as expected, simply not, because I'm not using a tripod. Yep. Let's see on the low settings. I don't want to create too much noise. Minimum. Will it work without a tool? I'm not even sure. Let's see. And it will. Cool little thingy. Okay. Obviously I will show you how I use this in various scenarios around the house. It's still a working project. Let's see, do we have? Yes, we have the extended 1-year warranty based on the serial on this thing. Serial which, at least in theory, let's see if I can also remove the battery with one hand. And I can. So if I can do it, you should be able to do it on a work site, whatever you are actually... Oh, it's here. Most times it was under the battery, but it seems this time it's actually on the outside, because presumably there wasn't enough room on either the black plastic or the red plastic. And you can see here, is this the reduced vibration they were talking about? Not really 100% sure. This seems to be moving. This whole part right here seems to be moving. The whole red thing. And you can see it has two sets of screws quite close one to the other. Yeah, the whole thing is moving. And this is also moving. So yes, reduced vibrations that get transmitted to the joint between the battery and this. That's 100% true to what they have written. The motor in here looks huge. Huge in terms of this type of tools, not huge in, I don't know, other domains. But for this type of tool, to have a motor about this in diameter and about this long, that's quite big. So yeah, let's rip into this and continue. These are the included tools, or attachments, maybe it's better to say. Is this diamond plated? I honestly expect it to be, if not diamond, at least some really hard cutting material in there. This one is for wood and aluminium, and this works well if you need to change the angle a little bit without taking this attachment out of the tool and putting it back, because you can put it at any angle that you need to. Obviously, even one of these, you don't need to have it like that. You can have it like this at an edge, depending on where you need to work. But this one you don't need to take it out that much, because as you can see, yes, obviously it's round-ish. Anyway, this one is for cutting into metal, for wood or plastic. And this one is like a knife. I think this was shown in that image to remove silicone or something like that between the tiles. A washer, which presumably goes in here, but I'm not sure if this is some kind of adapter for other ones of this. We will read the manual. This for sanding, and 3 of each dimensions of sanding paper. So small grit, bigger grit, and the biggest grit, or at least that's what I think, 80. This is 120 and 60. So no, small, bigger, biggest. I missed between the two ones. And yes, it goes in place by this type of connection. You can hear it. I don't remember how it's called, but it's quite clear what it is. so it's easy to put in there, easy to take out when it's actually done. So let's take a quick look in the manual and see if they tell us what this is used for. And then put one of these tools on this, presumably the wood, because this I think I will be using first. Had a chance to look a bit better at the tool. As you can see, it has lots of black rubber pads in the battery area. This whole thing sits on a black rubber pad. So basically, yes, vibrations are mostly stopped from reaching the battery, or they still reach it, but much less than they would without all that rubber in there. So to attach one of these tools, let's close this up because I opened it, cannot do it with one hand. You simply, from the locked position, you need to rotate it until it kind of locks in the opposite position. Really hard to do with one hand. And now it's unlocked and ready to accept one of these tools. And it's something like this. It needs to enter the pins. Voila, because you cannot put it another way in here, obviously it will just not reach. But the weird thing is, and I'm not sure I understood yet correctly, this 14, I will show it to you, is the disc, and they tell us right about here, for the tools with recesses, which is this, is a recess, the correct use, chamber facing the tool. So the chamber, I'm expecting it to be this, so in theory this is the correct use, isn't it? And we have a list of all of these and 3 figures. Well, weirdly enough, in here they show figure 4 and 5, which is not here, figure 8, which is not here. So I'm not sure if this was intended to look like in another way for this whole manual, because I cannot find any other figures anywhere in this whole manual. Anyway, I will try to get back to that and see what I can find. The size of the sanding grinding area, 90 by 90 by 90 millimeters. This info are for the battery and the charger. I have the solo variant. Does it write solo on the box? No, but it shows the battery in white, so you kind of figure out that you are not getting the battery in the solo variant. Okay, the sound level that it makes, but yeah, be careful about sound. Use some earplugs, and also when using this, use a breather mask. You don't want to breathe in what dust you will create. Yeah, so that's about it. It's quite straightforward, honestly, apart from again, figure out 8 speed control. Searched for a few online manuals, and this one, which I will link in the description, has what we need. So up until now it's identical to our manual, but if we go a bit lower on this page, it has the missing pictures. So in my and presumably your manuals, we just had a printing problem where we are missing one of the pages, and from here on again it starts normally and we have everything. But we are simply missing this page right here. So now I understand what's up with that washer. For tools that are closed like this, like all the included ones, we do not need the washer. But for tools that have a hole in there, a cutout, we need to use the washer, and as you can see, it shows it how to use it. And I will show you in a moment directly on the tool, so it's quite simple. And we also see how to charge it, how to check the battery, how to power it on and off, how to take out the battery. So yeah, we are missing a few pictures, but I'm showing them to you now, so no harm done. Okay, so once again, this little thing is just an adapter to keep other types of blades in place, blades that don't have the end closed. So let's rip this out and simulate one of those blades, if I could actually do it, and I can, which is great. Blade, get out of there. So it was just a small printing problem where we are actually missing a page. So we put this right here. Again, just think of it as not having hey, come on, I don't want to put you at such a big angle. Where are the pins? There are the pins, okay. Imagine that it's open. Right here it's all open. And we need to come with this in this position. So with the hole out, we go in there, and then we simply close the tool. For me, not doable with one hand, so we'll be back in a second. And you can see it now, it's locked in place. So basically it's kind of an adapter. So yeah, there's that. But when we use tools like this, which are fully closed all around, we do not need the washer. So put that aside and don't lose it, of course. Put the tool on, obviously again without adapter because it's full round, and ready to do some work. With a smaller battery, to be lighter in the hand, I don't think I will have problems even with this 2.5 amp battery. It will be more than enough for what I'm doing. And I noticed it has a soft start, which is kind of cool. Be ready for a bit of a louder noise, but it will not start at maximum RPM from scratch. So it's ramping up and down. That's pretty cool. Let's go do our thing now and cut some wood. Some furniture, actually. First job for the VARRITO. To cut through this beam and make some room for that water heater under this sink. I realized something. I was actually also getting to cut the screws, and I don't intend to cut them, so changed the attachment. We'll be sliding it right here in the middle and only cut the wood dowel. The wooden dowel that we cut with the VARRITO, it was the perfect tool for the job. Yes, this is quite demolished because I didn't want to need to cut these things, although as you can see in that one, the original blade that I started with for the VARRITO already started cutting into, but maybe I can reuse these things for other purpose, no reason to destroy them. So yeah, this is a bit damaged, but nothing that you can do about it, and this is not in an area where you can actually see it, so doesn't matter. This is also stuck in here, and I don't want to try to pull it out, so now we can simply cut it. And obviously forgot to press record on the camera, so sorry about that. As you can see, clean cut. As you can see, everything looks much tidier now in here. Next step, cut the drawer. Okay, we need to cut these three right here. Changed the angle of the blade, and hopefully I can do something like this and simply cut through them. Okay, as you can see, really fine sawdust. This thing cut through it really easily, but weirdly enough, you actually have to push it a little bit in there. At first I was just keeping it at the first surface and it wasn't doing much. If you push it in there, it's doing it. And honestly, this is the ideal tool for just bumped into it, for small modifications, weird modifications like this, where something bigger cannot work in here, and a pendular saw, I think it's called, would just tear this whole thing apart from the vibrations. This has much smaller but with a higher frequency vibration, so this thing just doesn't care that I'm cutting from it. It's not coming apart or anything. So yeah, let's continue. As you can see, cutting perfectly, cutting straight. This is not a fast cutting tool by any means. This is not for huge construction jobs. This is for patchwork, for fixing various stuff that other tools just can't, are not suited for it. This will go into smaller places, in weirder corners, and it does the job properly. So perfect. Thank you, EINHELL, for sending this in. It really helps with these weird modifications that I'm doing here, and for sure in other jobs where in the past I was just doing my best in weird ways. Now I have something that's actually meant for those jobs. I cut the initial line with this on the top. I cannot cut deeper because I would cut into my toolbox, which you can see down there red. So I need to lift this off it. It cuts really nicely. Yes, presumably I could do this with other tools, but it would mean taking this whole thing apart. With VARRITO, I can cut on site. And yes, I need to cut another line on the edge. It's cutting really, really nicely. Still same blade for wood and plastic. I have zero issues whatsoever up until now. Awesome. And I'm now I just realized all that I'm doing up until now, camera focus today, was at minimum speed. I will ramp this up as I get used to the tool and how it needs to be used and what it likes and what it doesn't like. Started cutting through. Of course, I'm off my toolbox. I don't want to cut into it. This thing, you look at how clean of a line I can cut with it. Yeah, it's really nice, and it doesn't make dust in the room. So it makes sawdust really fine, but it doesn't throw it away like other tools do. It just creates it in there and vibrates it. If you have a vacuum cleaner next to it, zero dust in the air. I like it. It's better than what I was hoping for it to be, honestly. Okay. Perfect cut in my opinion, honestly. The tool barely warm, and again the engine is almost all the thickness of the tool in this area, so quite a big motor, not engine. Anyway, it's not brushless, but really nice anyway. I think it's not brushless. Is it brushless? No, I don't think it's brushless. It doesn't say anywhere. Anyway, let's remove this part right here. Let's see how everything fits in here. Papa. Isn't that nice? Papa. And my daughter here watching what I'm doing. Just wanted to mention the quick release is awesome, and I wouldn't want to be without it, to use tools to change the angle of this at any time. Good addition. But I've also found what this tool can't really do. and that is cut something while you are holding it in your hand, because it will be moving your hand and basically it needs the piece that you are cutting to be perfectly still. And I tried to make it still by holding it like this. The box got roughed up, so the piece needs to be attached to something quite fixed. If it's really wobbly, this will not cut it, at least with this particular blade. Maybe with others with smaller teeth it will cut it, otherwise it's just wiggling back and forth and not doing much. And yes, the 2.5 amp battery is doing perfect job. I don't feel I need more. Maybe even a smaller one would still do the job and be even lighter. Job done, looking at least half decent, and I couldn't have done it without this. So awesome little tool, and I will obviously continue to use it in next weird projects that will come towards me. Another thing that I need to do with this tool is prepare these stairs for painting, handrails or whatever you want to call them. Also they have some marks from manufacturing. We need to get those off. I think it's some bond or something that they used it to cover defects, but now we need to sand it down. So yeah, let me do just a bit of work and see how it goes, because this will take a lot and will be done probably in some weeks, because I don't have too much time at the moment. Okay, this is going really well, and this doesn't seem to be affected too much, so that is honestly perfect. And it's first time that I'm using any type of sander, so believe me, zero experience. I really don't have a clue what I'm doing, so yeah, be ready for a bit of loud noises once again. Okay, so this is perfect. Honestly, yes, it will take a while. These stairs are not, rails are not even finished. I need to fill up these areas, fill up some holes right here. But I was just testing to see if the tool will help me, and it will help me a lot. Beats sanding by hand by a long shot. So yeah, that's about it for this. Will be put to really good use around the house all the time. Thank you again, EINHELL, for sending it in. Really nice tool, and honestly, it's one of those tools that you don't know you need until you actually get it. And yep, I need it. So yeah, as always, feel free to ask in the comments whatever you need, and see you in the next one. Bye.